This episode of the Horse Whisperer podcast features trainer Riley Mott, plus plenty of banter from Jordan, Zach, and Randy as they break down their Eclipse Award predictions and share a few laughs along the way.
Well, you know what? Let's start, since you haven't done anything for the last 10 days.
Correct.
Let's hear about your trip to Florida. Meet the Fockers. Meet the parents, meet the Fockers. You know, you had the Fockers, and what was the other side of the family? George, in the movie, there was the Fockers, and who else?
The parents.
No, what was
what was the parents' last name?
I have no clue.
Okay,
so you have De Niro and you have Hoffman, Dustin Hoffman.
What was the family names?
I don't
right,
know.
so,
it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Okay, so he had Meet the Fockers weekend.
I'll talk about it, but I'll give you the stuff that people are going to want to hear about. I'm going to start with Payson Park. So usually when I go there, we would just stop in one place. We would just stop in Miguel. We'd visit them all. We'd watch them run around, yada, yada, yada. So I get to Payson Park, and usually, Jordan, I know you haven't been there. So there's a guy at a gate. And usually he just says, who you going to see? And he opens the gate. But he was a little more tough on me because sovereignty was dropped off that day. So he was asking some questions. What stable are you a part? Yeah, so whatever. He lets me in. We go to see Farbridge. Farbridge is looking unbelievable. Farbridge is looking very good. Now, do I think he stinks? I do, but I think he's going to come back for a strong season. We're going to change the schedule up a little bit. Then we went to Pandora, and Miguel has no idea what to do to this horse. He has no clue. He doesn't know if he's going to be a turf, tapeta, dirt, or whatever. It's probably 7 acres of Chad Brown. So I stop at each one. The last one I stop at, I go into this. It looked like there was do you know when they have the meeting, Jordan, when they kill someone? Like Trump just had it when they took out the guy in Venezuela. They took all the pictures in the boardroom. I walk into this boardroom. It's Chad. It looked like 10 FBI agents and Vickers. I walked in. I thought I was going to get stopped and robbed. Thank God Vickers was there and he knew me. I asked to see Mally move. So Chad comes out, and I thought he'd take me to the stable, which is what Miguel normally does. You just go to the stall. You feed it peppermints like what Rudy does. Chad goes, you stand over there. I'm going to bring him around. So he brought Mally Moo around like it was a valet car. Like I just gave him the ticket. He brought Mally Moo around. We had a nice little chat. Then I went to see Cox because I wanted to see La Mahana. And I go there, and Cox goes, La Mahana's back home, which I don't know what the fuck that means, but he wasn't too happy to see me or that I asked, whatever. So then I left. I went back to Miguel. I told him what happened, and he couldn't stop laughing. He wasn't too happy. So that was my trip to Payson. Dad, do you have any questions about Payson?
No, I think that's awesome. I think it's an awesome trip you had to Payson Park.
So the Eclipse Award nominations came out this week. I'm very curious what both of you have to think, because I know Dad has a lot of knowledge on it. Jordan, I'm sure you know some of the names, but not most of them.
I have a good grasp, but
you do.
I'll follow your lead.
Well, I mean, I've read, you say you're a producer, you say you know how to set things up.
What are you complaining about?
You set that
What
up.
are you complaining about?
I'm reading the producer's report. The next thing it says it's the Bank Frenzy race. You know, how you went to the Eclipse.
That's not in order.
I mean, I'm reading in order. Is this in order?
No.
Is this how you produce something?
It's not in order.
He did.
Okay. Listen, as you get older, you're turning more like your mother and father. You love to complain. You're going to start with
No, I'm asking you where we're starting at.
It's okay, Bob Marley. Bob Marley, let's start with Bank Frenzy that stinks. Let's go. Tell him. Let's talk about it.
Okay, so Bank Frenzy has been running since we purchased him in May of 2024, Jordan. Okay, which is close to 2 years. He has trained every single month for 2 straight years, which is similar to LeBron James playing basketball in a game every day for 2 years. Similar to that, if they're training wise. Would you say so, Zach?
I'm agreeing with you. Yeah, I agree with you.
So what I think has happened with Bank Frenzy is he needs a rest. He needs the little things fixed. He's got the same problems that he's been running with for 14 straight months. He needs a little break. We're going to give him 3-4 months off. He'll come back. He will win the commentator, guaranteed. So Bank Frenzy, that race wasn't the Bank Frenzy. He tailed off a little. He was a little tired. It's time for him to get a little break, go out in the sun, get a massage, a facial, get his feet redone, and come back. That's
So
my
you think
feeling on Bank Frenzy.
So if Bank Frenzy was 100% healthy, you think he would have won?
I think a Bank Frenzy at a mile or more, when he is 100% like he was right up until the Empire. Right after the Empire is when he got tired. I mean, between the Empire and the commentator, it's like winning the Kentucky Derby and the Breeders' Cup for state breds. So he basically ran his heart out this year. And basically, we were forced to put him in 2 races that were 7 furlongs. Doc Sullivan is a very good sprinter. Going a mile or more, Doc Sullivan will never beat us when we're in top shape.
Well, you're ignoring the fact that Doc's juiced up.
Okay, we
I know
cannot
you're
use
scared.
the
I
word
know you're scared.
juice.
Just came up to you to the paddock and say they didn't like talking about the juice horses. I know.
No, it's not. It's a word that they don't want to be used, because of the story with the juice man. I don't know if you watched the video I sent you of the juice man and how they basically were able to take horses and make them go 2 seconds faster. So yes, did Doc Sullivan and other horses and other trainers and other improve horses like that? Yeah. Could they have their own type of training program or medication or stuff that they eat that makes them go faster? So, can't call it juice. Call it orange juice. Maybe they give him apple juice. Maybe they give him apple juice.
You started off the show, you came out hot, and then I use one word and you're ready to hide.
Well, it's not it's people don't like to hear that word, so I don't need to be threatened.
I'll use it with our horses.
No, I really don't want to hear. I don't want to hear talk about juice. I don't want to hear talk about juice. You know what? If they use juice, they use juice. Orange juice, apple juice, grapefruit juice, any type of juice.
Jordan, you got anything?
Okay, I may bring some banana juice too.
Yeah, you're a little scared. That's okay. Jordan, you got anything?
Yeah, I mean, when we were at that Bank Frenzy race, Dad, you looked at Doc Sullivan and looked at me and said, "What's that stuff on his nose?" And we both noticed something that wasn't natural on his nose. I'm just telling you, the horse is very fast. And after sending that video about the 2 seconds, listen, I'm sure the owner's nice. I'm sure there's something we don't know, but that horse is incredible. I don't know what it is. I mean, whatever.
No, the other horse is even better. Zach, you have to send him the horse Mo 88. This horse went from basically almost breaking his maiden at a state bred level, an 80 buyer figure. Then he moved trainers. He went from the next race, he went from a 90. And then the race after that, he won by 18 lengths and he ran 110 buyer. I've never seen a state bred horse run 110 buyer figure. There's training programs, and if you look at an athlete, all you could do is compare it to an athlete and say, okay, the cheetah runs 6.2, whatever it is, 50-yard dash. If one day he comes out and he runs 4.2, he must have had rocket fuel in his ass. So horses can't improve that. It's very hard. Like Zach already said, it's like, okay, you run a race 100 yards in 10 seconds, and all of a sudden you come out and you run an 8.
You're right. That's why I use the word juice.
So
but I don't
know. I don't. This is not really a strong topic. I do think that.
Well, it is. You're just
one of the other reasons why we didn't come second was you had mush there that day. Jordan came in that day. It wasn't a race we were expected to win. You got to bring Jordan on races on days we're expected to win.
0 for the century on your horse race picks. 0 for the century. I gave you 2 fantastic winners this weekend. Under Buccaneers, Steelers win the game.
What does that have to do going Aqueduct?
You're calling me a mush. I win. I have 6 pictures on the wall.
No, you have pictures. You have never lost a race when we're the favorite.
What are you talking about?
We've
lost plenty of times the favorite.
We lose as the favorite all the time.
At Aqueduct, we lost the favorite. We were 1-9 in the opening line with Bank Frenzy. We were 1-9.
No. Final odds Final odds. This is a fact. Final odds. It has to be the favorite for you to win. I'm going to tell you the races you were there. The Haynesfield, we were 1-9.
Yes. Those weren't the
Okay.
final odds, but you can make up stuff. Continue.
Okay. The Man of War, 1-2.
That makes sense.
Bowling Green, 1-5. The
What
only
about the
race
first
that
Farmers
you've been
win?
to, the only race that you've been to that we were the second choice was Farbridge against Warlike Goddess.
What about the first Farbridge win?
What do you mean, at Belmont?
What about Bank Frenzy in Saratoga? We weren't a favorite.
No, we were 3 to.
Yeah, he was the favorite in Saratoga. Bank Frenzy
almost
was the
lost.
favorite. It was 7-5. So you're
He was the
meant to
favorite,
be
yeah.
when we're the favorite.
Okay,
I
so
love you
those-
anyway.
We're the
Are
favorite
you
too.
are you road?
Yeah,
Really?
yeah. Look,
You were
look at my car, right here.
is the
Not
office
right there.
is the office still open?
No,
No?
there's no people in there anymore.
That's a great park. I live next door. That's where
You
Mom
lived,
and I you see
you lived that
Mom
way.
and I started dating and we were living together next door.
I remember.
She used to climb out the window in the middle of the night.
Okay, do you have anything else on Bank Frenzy? Not use a juice, Doc Sullivan, nothing.
Can you ever transition a horse to a different type of running material, like dirt to turf, or vice versa?
You know, you could try it. You know, if it's not working on one surface, you try them on another surface. You know, as you see now, a lot of people putting horses on the synthetic track.
Yeah, you could put Kuchar on gravel in Central Park if you want. It's a good play.
When's Kuchar going to run?
Kuchar is right now in training, and Miguel should have him ready in the next, hopefully, 60 or 90 days to run.
We're going to move on before I say anything that makes me cut out. Let's move to the Eclipse Award nominations. I'll start with the easy ones, then we'll get into the tough ones, the ones that you guys might have an opinion on. So let's start with 3-year-old male. I think we're all in agreement that Sovereignty is going to win.
Yes.
Nothing to talk about.
Why
George,
wouldn't
nothing.
journalism win?
because he stinks.
Okay, continue.
Jockey stinks. Horse stinks. There's 100 owners. Let's move. Yeah, actually, you know what? Let's just go to the hard ones. This one's an interesting one, and that I'm very curious about your opinion on this one. So it's male turf horse. So deterministic, notable speech, Rebels romance. Before we go, we all are going to say Rebels romance is going to win, but why is deterministic on the list?
Well, number one, Rebels romance is not going to win. Number two, the reason why deterministic is on that list is the horse won 2 grade 1s during the year. I think it won 3 out of 3 races or 3 out of 4 races, and they were grade 1s, and there wasn't really a third horse for them to throw in. You know, Rebels Romance was only ran here one race plus the Breeders' Cup. Notable Speech has a better record, and Notable Speech won the mile turf. So Notable Speech is going to win the Eclipse Award.
Let me just back it up for a second. Farbridge last year, 2024, how many grade 1s did he win? And he wasn't nominated. And deterministic, one of the races he won, I'm not even counting. The Manhattan, I'm not counting. That's why I was shocked he was on the list.
Well, you know what? Like Mike Rapoli was upset that Mindframe wasn't on the list. So,
Well,
you
I'm
know,
not
you could
upset
be-
Farbridge
you
is
could
on
be
the
a-
list. No. I forget about Farbridge. I just don't want deterministic on the list. That's my
well,
problem.
you know what? It's on the list, and there's nothing you could do about it.
All right, so I'm
We're
going to move.
talking about who the winner. He's not going to win. So what
Well,
are they going to do?
I like talking about the
people are
losers.
going to waste. The people are going to waste $50,000 to go there for the weekend. No,
I
if
like
you're coming third, you're not coming to lose. If you're going somewhere to lose, Yes, you're nominated. It's nice to be there. I remember Nana last year. Oh, we got to get the nomination, the nomination, the nomination. Who wants to be nominated to lose?
Yeah, but you also you don't know.
You know
What are
beforehand.
the
This
odds
stuff
on
is
notable speech to win? You're making the odds. What are the odds?
okay. Odds on a notable speech winning are minus 200.
And Rebels Romance is what, plus 150? And Deterministic is
Plus
million.
200. Deterministic is plus 1,000.
Could I take Rebels Romance with you if you're the house?
Yes. How much would you
Okay.
like?
Probably a couple thousand. Also, I have a quick question. Could we what is the criteria for how the judges vote for the winner?
There are
What
no
goes-
criteria.
What?
There's no point system. They just vote.
Well, what are they taking into account? Be honest, like wins,
Like Jordan,
speed.
this is gonna.
Remember, there's different judges. This is like, what's it called? Dancing with the Stars.
Yeah, this is like Jordan. This is also like the Heisman MVP. Like, there's no nothing. I don't know how they pick the nominees, but you just pick. Like George Sarf, you can walk in there and pick anyone you want.
Okay,
Like,
and
I'm
who?
about
Well,
to
they
give
have
you a
people.
category. I'm
Like,
about to
everybody
give you a
gets a
category.
vote.
If this horse, there's a category in here that if this horse doesn't win, there should be a lawsuit. So I'm gonna move to male sprinter. So we have Ben Tornado, Bookham Dano, and Nisos.
A lock.
So, well, it's an interesting category because Nisos is in another one too, but Bookham Dano should win.
Of course, absolutely.
Now, look, if you're looking at this, I know Dad's
You're right. Book Dano won't lose.
Well, I don't think that's
Won't
the case.
lose. Book
I don't
Dano
think
is
he
minus
loses.
Wait.
1,000.
I don't think that's the case because you got to remember, Nisos is trained by Baffert. Everyone hates Baffert. Bookham Dano uses Paco. Everyone hates Paco. And Ben Tornado, at the end of the day, really won one good race this year, which was the Breeders' Cup.
I am
correct?
telling you, Bookham Dano won't lose. He's minus 1,000.
I agree with you, but I wouldn't be shocked if they fuck Paco.
I listen to me. The only way that Tornado wins is if Jon Stewart likes Michael Ivorone. Jon Stewart runs the Eclipse Awards ceremonies that day. So if it's a tight situation, he is going to make a decision based on like Donald Trump would.
So do you think Paco's there?
At the
Or
Eclipse?
is Paco there?
I don't know. Paco comes off probation in a month or
Soon.
two. Yeah.
Yeah, but he'll be right back on. Right back on. All right, this is another easy category. Older dirt female, Sheila, Splendora, Torpedo Anna.
And Torpedo Gets-
I love Sheila.
So Sheila probably had the better year, but Torpedo Anna retired. There's no way she loses.
I think that they want to give her the award, but I do think Sheila is a good bet at plus 400.
What's the line for Torpedo Anna?
Gotta be nice.
Torpedo Anna is minus 400.
I'm making a ticket here with I'm going to put like
Right,
three
yeah,
horses.
write these down, Jordan.
So I have Torpedo Anna
And
at.
by the way, McPeak should be in jail, but I'm going to save that for after this discussion. So, Jordan, write all your stuff down. I'm going to move on to the next category. This one's got a lot of interesting stuff. Older dirt male, forever young, Niso, Sierra Leone. So, Dad, what's your take on this situation? I know everyone's been talking about it.
Well, I think that, based on what happened last year with Rebels Romance, it's the same situation. Forever Young won the Breeders' Cup. Once you win the biggest race, you end up with the award, especially if you have a good year. So I think Forever Young is minus 10,000. So I think they could have had 9 or 6 other nominees. It wouldn't matter. I mean, Mike Rapoli wrote a whole thing on Twitter about mind frame and fierceness, not getting a vote or a nominee. I mean, the reality is that stuff is picked out by people. And if they don't like you, they're not going to pick you. So if you look at the 3 horses they picked, Forever Young did deserve to be one of the nominees. Nisos, they need to decide what category the horse is in. They can't. I think the horse is in 3 categories.
Yeah, the horse
or
is
2
in
categories. Right.
Yeah.
So that's not fair to begin with. As far as Sierra Leone goes, Sierra Leone won the Breeders' Cup last year. Sierra Leone won 1 Grade 1 this year and was right there the other 2 races and almost won the Breeders' Cup this year. fierceness, was sucking wind in the Breeders' Cup, but ran good in the Pacific Classic. Mind frame, listen to me. The horse ran a couple of good races, but after Irad fell off the horse, jumped on Zayas, and Zayas almost jumped on the other horse, that horse was fucked up. That horse, and Kendrick fucking took that horse, wiped that horse out. So, to talk about mind frame like he deserves a nominee, I think that he's crazy. So I do think that the winner of it, Forever Young, that's minus 1,000.
Okay. Dad, if you could make a category that they don't have on there, what would you make?
Well, if you look at other sports and you look at certain types of awards that they give out, the only one you really could give out is a little more to show to the jockeys, like most improved jockey. Or
like
those.
I'd like a race of the year. Race of the year.
Oh yeah, you could have race of the year.
What's your race of the year?
For all
Eclipse
horses?
Awards, not us. Eclipse Awards. If you had to pick a race of the year.
The race of the year is the Preakness. I mean, it's not even close.
I agree. It's
not even that race. That's not even close. There's nothing close to that. I don't think there's anything close to that in 10 years.
Definitely agree. Jordan, do you agree?
Yeah, it was a pretty solid race. I have a category also. The Eclipse Awards would be good for most flamboyant owner.
So who would be the nominees?
Dad and probably McPeak. I would say those. McPeak's not even an owner. I would just throw him in there anyway.
McPeak should be in
flamboyant?
jail.
What's flamboyant?
Like wearing a scarf, beanie, and a Rangers jersey inside. Yeah, you're wearing
flashy.
Like big
purple
suit. What do you mean?
Suit. He's flashy? He's flashy, McPeak?
No, he's really just you versus Ivorone. Like the two of you have like these big loud outfits that you wear all the time. You're screaming and yelling at the track. Like that type
Well, he doesn't scream. He doesn't scream.
He wears these loud outfits. I see what he
wears. He wears more than loud. He wears like interesting stuff.
Right, he's getting his nails painted too. He's a nice guy, but yeah, he does some stuff that I would never do.
Yeah.
I'm gonna move on. There's a couple other horse ones I don't really want to go over, but there's one horse category on here that's interesting. So there's Steeplechase Horse of the Year. So there's a horse that isn't on here that should have won this category, and it's the one that won the Breeders' Cup Turf. That horse should count as a steeplechase horse.
Definitely.
Not even a nominee.
Definitely, the horse would win it.
Horse would win, 100%.
Time out. Did the horse run in steeplechase this year?
Yes. First race.
Okay, so
yeah,
definitely. But the problem is he didn't run in the United States steeplechase.
Yeah, they got to fix all this.
How come they don't have an award for steeplechase jockey?
Steeplechase jockey? That's a good question. I don't know.
Yeah, well, do you know the story what happened in Saratoga this summer with the steeplechase jockeys? So two of them, I think it was a 1-2 exactor, and they came in third and fourth. They found out afterwards that both jockeys were like 10 pounds overweight than they were supposed to be. And they suspended them for like 2 months.
But they don't give a shit. There's one steeplechase race a week.
Yeah, I'm just saying that's like the steeplechase race of the year.
I like it. All right, there's two more categories, actually three that I want to go over. Jockey of the Year. So we have Irad, Pratt, and Velasquez. Dad, are you okay with the three nominees? Let's start there.
No. I am not okay with the three nominees. I think definitely it should be Irad. I think it should be Pratt. And I think the third one should be Junior Alvarado.
You know what? Okay, so there's a couple ways you can look at that, and I actually do agree with you. But my argument always is anyone can ride that horse.
I don't think it really has to do with riding the horse. I think based on, you look at each of the three jockeys, the reason why I picked all three of those jockeys, okay, Irad just runs around and wins as many races as he can, okay?
Correct.
Pratt is Michael Jordan of horse racing. They
Correct.
give
Pratt
him the ball.
Correct.
He is. They give him the ball, and they know he's going to score, guaranteed. Okay. Junior overcame so much this year and was so successful, not just with Sovereignty. Schiller, he won in the Breeders' Cup. He had an unbelievable Saratoga. He has been winning big races. That's really normally when they the third nominee in, because they're not going to throw in Paco. He won the most amount of races. They ain't throwing Jose in to double team Pratt. And Saez or Manny, not up there yet.
You want to
So
know?
really,
I agree with you with Alvarado. I agree with you.
Velasquez did win some races, but you know what? He's 55 years old. He won enough awards. Let some of the younger guys listen to me. This was Junior's best year ever from top to bottom with an injury that this man had in March and not sure that he was ever going to ride. So at the end of the day, he's not going to win. Pratt's basically minus 1,000. Irad's plus 500, and Velasquez is plus 10,000. So that's the odds on that.
You want to know, the case you just made for Alvarado? You made it sound like he was even money. I actually do agree with you. Alvarado should be on that list after hearing that.
Yeah, I mean, that's just, only because, meat riding the guy all year, like you said, watching him and how hard he works. And, he just didn't win on one horse. I mean, we watched him win on some horses. He can't ride on wiffle ball bats. He's not made on a wiffle ball bat. But you give him a horse that has has gas in the engine, he's going to get there. He's riding was unbelievable this year.
Okay. Let's move to trainer of the year. So we have Chad Brown, Brad Cox, Bill Mott. Dad, do you agree with the nominees?
Yes.
Why? Okay. Chad, I agree with. So Bill Mott, you think it's just enough that he has the best horse this year?
Bill Mott's going to win the Eclipse Awards. That's guaranteed.
No, I'm asking you. So it's enough that he had just said the best horse?
Well, he has two things. He has Godolphin and Godolphin. They're the breeder of owner of Sovereignty.
So that's enough. That one horse is enough to win this award.
Well, Bill Mott had 7 or 8 grade ones this year. He won. He won the Breeders' Cup. How many Breeders' Cups did Chad win? How many Breeders' Cups did Cox win? 0. How many wins in the Triple Crown?
Cox should not be on the list.
Well, Cox is on the list because he won that $20 million race in Saudi Arabia.
He had La Mahana at pace that he didn't want to show me.
Why didn't he want to show you?
I think La Mahana was there. I really do. I truly think La Mahana was there.
What does he think? You're going to steal her?
I think he listens to the podcast, but I'm happy he does because he's and I'm not taking it out.
Why? You loved Cox for a while.
I did. Then once he told me the horse is home, I didn't like it. I don't like that he was okay riding the horse. I don't like that he used IRAD. There's a lot of things I didn't like about Cox now.
Okay.
Let's move to easy topic, apprentice jockey of the year. Chris Elliott, and then 2 bums. It's going to be Chris Elliott. That's probably the easiest award. Chris Elliott's...
I got to tell you, I do think Chris Elliott's definitely going to win. But you see that guy Hazelwood?
Yeah.
Do a little research on Hazelwood. Been winning, apprentice. Like the Jose Gomez type apprentice. But it's interesting. Had 7 whip violations in the last 30 days. 7. Because I look now each day on the HISA site of all the things that are filed each day.
Yeah.
So I was looking. He had 3 in one day. At parks. They're all at parks, he gets.
Okay, that was my next question. I have no idea where he was riding.
The other third person, I don't know who they are.
Yeah. All right. Actually, there's one more horse Eclipse Award I want to go over. 3-year-old filly, good cheer, nitrogen. She's so spicy. This is an interesting one. What do you think, Dad?
Well, what's it called? Won't lose that one.
What, nitrogen?
She's so spicy?
No.
Nitrogen?
What's the third one?
Nitrogen.
Which one?
No, wait. Good cheer.
There's a good cheer. Won't lose. That's a Godolphin horse. Won't lose. Anything that says Godolphin on it will not lose that day. That's why Junior wouldn't have lost. If they would have put Junior on the nominee, if it
He
says
should have
Godolphin,
been nominated. The more I think
they
about
should
it,
call it the Godolphin Eclipse Awards, not the, what's it called, Eclipse Awards.
the one thing me and you would disagree heavy on is the Book of Dano. I'm rooting for Book of Dano. There's just no way they let Paco win anything. Not a chance. So, the last topic I want to go over, then we can shoot the shit a little bit. Dad, you were getting into it on Twitter a little bit about, what is it, the 3-year-old male? Yeah, older dirt male award.
With Rapoli?
Yeah, with Rapoli.
Well, he made a statement about the Eclipse Award, and I wrote my feeling as the horse whisperer. And he wrote back that, do I own any dirt horses, after he wrote this whole report. You know, he talks about that he knows everything about racing. He's Mike from Queens, and Mike from Queens. Mike from Queens doesn't know that Bank Frenzy has won for the last 2 years the top state bred races in New York. So he ain't Mike from Queens. You know, like, to me, like, you know, do a little research, you know, don't just shoot the shit out. It sounds, you know, it doesn't sound right. You know, I was trying to be nice, and he asked me if I have any dirt horses. Why? Because he thinks the only horse we own is Farbridge. Okay, because he's not at the track watching us. He's barely there.
He is barely.
So that's
my
well, that's my Twitter rant with him. I mean, it's stupid. So first of all, he knows he has enough liquid assets to enjoy himself, but it doesn't seem like he's enjoying himself doing it. You know, you see most of his writing, he talks about it's all about frustration, mad at this one, mad at that one, this person's this person's that. But he's talking about things that he can't change. The game is unchangeable. You got to have fun doing it. You try to run it like a business and, you know, try to make some money and survive and have good times. Like, we've had some really good times over the last, you know, 2-3 years that you know, those are the experiences you're never going to get back. And, you know, he talks about this game in a certain way. If he should look at it as having fun and a business, because if it was running like a business, he'd be out of business. But the problem is that, you know what, he has enough money to lose. It's like, okay, can Jordan afford to go to Tampa and spend, let's say, $10,000 to go there, right? Let's just say he could at any given time to do it. That's when he goes out and buys a horse, Mike Rapoli, for $1 million. It's no different than Jordan going to a Tampa game on Saturday. So, but Jordan enjoys it and knows how to make the best of it. He just throws money around. He's got all these people working for him, all these people doing stuff. Think about it. The three of us know more than his whole team. This whole team.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. You're.
I could run his whole stable from my desk here.
You're right. I mean, that's the part. Well, two things. Number one, I don't know what he's doing next year because his top 2 horses are finished.
If I had that type of money to have fun in this game, I would definitely be one of the leading owners in this game. I'd have 5 tables at the Eclipse Awards. I would be going head to head with Godolphin.
Well, I do agree with you. Yeah. No, I agree with you. He's bad at it. For the amount of money he has, he's bad at it.
Well, it's depending on, you know, what his purpose is. Is it breeding? Is it taking pictures? Like, what does he like to do? He says he's Mike from Queens. Okay? Does Mike from Queens go? Have you seen him at Aqueduct? Okay. Have you seen Mike at Queens at Parks?
No, I haven't.
Have you seen Mike at Queens from Monmouth? Okay? You do see him in Saratoga. Okay? You do see him in the paddock giving instructions to Johnny Velasquez and Irad Ortiz before the Jockeys Gold Cup. He shook Irad so much up before that race That's why the guy fell off the horse. I was in the paddock. I watched it.
There's a lot of things about him I don't really understand. He walks around with the fat guy from Mighty Ducks with him. There's just a lot of things.
No, that's the.
I'm talking about. I'm not talking about the.
Oh, no, the bigger than him.
Well, then he has the goalie and he has the defenseman. He has both fat guys from Mighty Ducks on his team. But there's just things I don't really understand about the guy. But if I had, to your point, if I had that much money, I would win every race. I would overpay for Volcano. I'd overpay for every horse.
Correct. You would use the system that it's what's called enjoyment. So we could use, if there was an Eclipse Award this year for the best deal made ever, I would have to say it's Michael Ivorone buying the horse that won the Breeders' Cup and possibly could win the Eclipse Awards. I happen to have think that is the story of the year.
I agree with you. I agree with you. They only paid 2 months of vet bills.
He paid $1 million to win the Breeders' Cup and possibly the Eclipse Awards. Do you know how many people would pay $1 million for that? That in horse racing right now that have the money. Jordan, would you pay that?
Sure.
If you had an extra, what do you call $1 million? That's not a box. What do you call $1 billion? A stick. If you had an extra stick, would you pay to win the Breeders' Cup in the Eclipse?
Yeah, sure.
And you're getting 25% of the purse too from the Breeders' Cup.
Oh, so you got a future.
Right. No,
I mean, to me, that was better than anything that I seen happen this year in horse racing to someone out of everybody. I mean, for that guy to go out to the Keeneland sale, like I told him to, Cormac's the best. He's got the best horses in that Keeneland sale. You got to buy horses in that Keeneland sale. He took that horse, wins the Breeders' Cup, now nominated, and now he's on top of the world. He bought 40 horses. He's got D'Angelo. He's got trainers I never heard of. He's got jockeys coming in I never heard of. Let me tell you something. We have to go. I want to go Pegasus Day. I really do. We don't have a horse running.
I was hoping.
You know what? I think we should go Pegasus. Jordan, are you around for Pegasus?
When is that?
January 28th.
Are we gonna? No, I think we're here.
We're back.
We're back.
Here's the scoop, literally. Show you're listening to the Horse Whisperer podcast and get a free scoop of ice cream or a beverage on us. Hildebrandt's After Dark, where good times and great stories meet.
Welcome to the show. Thank you for taking your time out. I did my research on you, and I usually pick out some good areas to talk about because we have similar backgrounds. We both worked for our fathers, and we decided to go on our own one day. But we also had a passion for some. I'm not sure if you played, but did I read that were you a hockey fan?
Yeah. That was one of my first loves before I got really into horse racing was hockey, and just kind of growing up in the Northeast, and I was around a lot of hockey families, and played pretty much ever since I could walk. Miss it every single day, that's for sure.
Well, are you you said Migliore, so I know Migliore is a Ranger fan, but you said Long Island, so you could be an Islander fan. But when you were in 7th grade, hockey was bigger in Florida with Tampa and Florida Panthers. So I'm not sure what your team is.
I'm a Buffalo Sabres fan, oddly enough. Don't ask me how that became a thing, but my entire life I've been a Sabres fan. And a lot of teams to choose from in New York, but did go to a lot of Islander games, obviously growing up in Nassau County. But the Sabres are my guys.
Well, if you really look at the distance-wise, how far is Buffalo from Saratoga?
It's like 3-4 hours, so it's not too far.
It's like going to the Coliseum from Saratoga.
Yeah, exactly.
So that could be one of your reasons that you liked Buffalo. But I thought it was interesting that you're a hockey fan. I didn't know, because doing some reading about you, I wasn't sure where you really spent most of your time. I did see you had a lot. You used to have a lot of play dates with Miguel Clement.
Yeah, yeah, we were in diapers together. We're, lifelong friends. Actually played ice hockey together down here in South Florida in the winter times, and played on the same soccer team growing up in New York. So we, go back many, many years, and we're still very good friends to this day.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I didn't know he played ice hockey, but
Didn't
I
last
definitely
long
know
on
it.
the ice, Miguel,
Yeah,
as you can imagine.
definitely. Now, where'd you go to college?
University of Kentucky.
No hockey there. There's no hockey players. There's nobody who
They have a
plays hockey
club
in
team.
Kentucky.
Yeah, they have a club team. I never participated or tried out. I was at the track most of the time and trying to get the college experience. But Lexington was great. Really enjoyed being at UK. Met a lot of lifelong friends who I'm very close to today, and made a lot of connections, in the thoroughbred industry, as you could imagine.
That's great. That's great. Yeah, because I saw that you went there, and then I'm saying, Kentucky ice hockey. Is definitely wasn't watching too much ice hockey when he was in the University of Kentucky. So you, I worked for my dad for a very long period of time when I was younger, 15 years old until I was probably 30. And I knew, at some point it's time to go on your own. Or you stay attached a certain way and you try to build something either together or apart from each other and don't step on each other's toes. So, what was your decision to decide to leave and go on your own the way you are building it now, which is a lot different than most people would build something with a Hall of Fame dad?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I had a decision to make. I mean, the one thing I knew is that my lifelong dream was to train racehorses on my own. Was lucky enough to come up under my dad's operation. I was his assistant for, almost 10 years, about 9 years. And I could have easily stayed involved in his operation and rode that wave for another 10 years and made a very good living doing that, working with really top horses that they've had since I left. And but at the end of the day, as I said, my dream was to start my own stable, build my own business. And I think at the point that I did go on my own, I had not necessarily learned everything that I learn, because you never stop learning in any facet of life, but horses in particular. But I just thought I had all the tools necessary to make the leap, and I tried to cultivate a really good team to start out before we even had one horse in the barn. So we've over the last several years been able to increase the numbers and quality in the stable, and that's been really fun to see. And I've maintained a really good team, so it's just been really fun. And just like I said, I'm living out my lifelong dream, so I feel very fortunate.
I think it's quite amazing because, you don't see too many father and son duos training at the same time, separate directions. And I love the fact that you decided to stay in your lane in the beginning and really not overdoing it. You got a little in Kentucky, you have a little in Florida, and you're building it up nicely. And it's really nice to see that. I don't think you picking up the phone and begging Godolphin to send you horses or any of these other places. I know you want to build yourself on your own, and you know what? That's the way my dad always said it to me as a kid. If you're going to build something, you got to build it, the way you want to build it. You may not build it the same way I built it, but you're going to take certain things that you learned and put it together into one. And I commend you for that. I
Yeah.
really do. And that gets to my next question is that What is your emotional tie as a child to your dad's horses, especially this
Well,
year?
yeah, I mean, growing up, it's as I said, it was like next to hockey, my number one passion. Horses and horse racing is, the love of my life, and just every single day, almost every hour, I was just thinking about horses, thinking about racing, the competition, the new prospects coming through the barn every spring with the 2 year olds. I remember every season in Saratoga when we opened up shop in the springtime. I'd just continuously look up pedigrees of all the families of the horses we were getting in, and it was just like being a kid in a candy store. We were lucky enough to, one or two out of every crop would turn out to be a pretty good horse. So it just a lot to really get excited for, working, with my dad. And while I have my own business now, and I don't know every single horse that he has in the stable, like I used to, I certainly follow his team and everything they do. Obviously, we were around for a lot of sovereignties races. Made a point to go up to Saratoga on several occasions when he ran, and we were there for the Derby. So, yeah, his horses and everyone that is involved still holds a very close spot in our heart.
Is it the same um, feeling, um, dad winning a grade one when you were working there, and when dad winning a grade one when you're just there as a spectator?
Yeah, that's actually a really good question. I think it's definitely a little bit different. I mean, we still get just as excited, um, but kind of like I mentioned, I'm not there every single day working hands on with his horses. So I think when you uh, have a horse that you work with day in and day out, and you put in the blood, sweat, and tears, and it wins. I mean, that's just like a whole different type of excitement, right? So it is hard to compare the two. Uh, with sovereignty, obviously, like winning the Derby, that's fun no matter what situation it is. And he's obviously a really special horse, to our family and everyone involved. But I would definitely say there is a little bit of a difference now that I have my own stable, for sure.
So I'm going to give you my top three things about your dad that I've been watching him and betting on him, and his barn is next to Clement's wherever we go. So I'm going to give you my top three things that is amazing about your dad. Number one of the best grass trainers ever, ever, ever. It just so happens that the stock of grass horses is a lot different now than it was in the late 90s, early 2000s. Um, the fact that he has a combinations of riders that he uses. When I bet him or watched him, it was Mott Bailey. And now you got Mott Jr. Like if, it's
Hmm.
one of the things that, really people relate to a horse when your dad runs it. And I think it's quite amazing. I mean, I happen to love the fact that Junior's agent is his driver. He'll do anything for him. It's good to have that. As long
Yeah,
as your rider is riding properly, it's good. You got the
yeah.
guy there; he's helping you out, and that's the story. What are the things that you took, the top three things you took when you left?
Well, I think one thing that I really like to emulate my dad on is just treating everyone in the barn, no matter what level they are, assistant, hot walker, groom, it doesn't matter. I mean, treat everyone with equal respect. Um, take value in the feedback that they give you, the information that they're giving you. I think you can really learn about your horse from anybody. Everyone's there every single day working with these individual horses, and I think it's important to take a little bit from everyone within the stable. And I think one thing my dad has been really great about is just treating everyone with equal respect and just being an overall good person. Also, I think you don't necessarily want to get in the way too much of the horses. I mean, I think one thing I try not to do, and I think my dad's probably the same way, is you try not to insert yourself too much into the equation. I mean, I think the horses kind of they can almost train themselves. Good horses are going to rise to the top. You just have to kind of make sure they're happy and healthy. Just make sure you're crossing your T's and dotting your I's, but not trying to get too cute in the things you do or the decisions you make. I think almost you have to halfway just kind of stay out of their way, and they respond pretty well to that. Another thing that he always told me that I have taken away is don't burn bridges with anybody. My dad's been able to really maintain great relationships in the sport for many years, as far as I could tell. And one big piece of advice he told me was to you're always gonna get fired. The longer you train, the more likely you are going to get fired at one point from a client. Never burn bridges. You could always come back around and have a good relationship. Maybe they'll send you a horse in the future and you guys can have success together. And not only with owners, but with people that work for you, your peers, trainers who you work, next to on a daily basis. So I think just maintaining good relationships throughout the industry is very important as well.
I agree with you. I agree with you on that. What is the challenge for you? How do you get new horses?
Well, I mean, you want to present yourself in a very professional way. You want to take pride in your business. I mean, it's our pride and joy. We wake up and you know we're up at the crack of dawn, and we're usually the last ones to leave. I relate it pretty closely to like owning a restaurant. A restaurant owner you'll see in the kitchen helping wash dishes, bussing tables, at the hostess stand in the front. I think, you really need to do a little bit of everything, take a lot of pride, in the product that you're putting out there. You need to produce, obviously. I think we're in the business of racing horses, and you need to put yourself in the winner circle for your clients who invest a lot of money in our business and the horses we train. And a lot of it is word of mouth. I mean, you never know when the next big client's going to pick up the phone and call you and offer to send you a few horses. So, a combination of all those things, I think, is, probably a good way to pick up some horses.
Do you foresee yourself in the future training for Godolphin?
I dream about it every day. That's for sure. I mean, they're the the uh the bar. They set the standard, have just been such a juggernaut over the last 2, 3 decades, pretty much. Winning breeder of the year, owner of the year, having champions left and right. So they are the standard, and everyone within that operation is just first class. So I was very fortunate to get to know a lot of those people working for my dad, and I know my dad feels the same way about Godolphin.
Well, you know what? If we can't get Godolphin, maybe we could get some of the horses that, they don't want to, keep. We could take some of the younger horses that may not be grade one, they may be grade two or grade three, and we could build from there. If they're not going to give us the horse, maybe they could sell us the horse.
Absolutely, yeah. My dad always told me every horse has their level. Every horse can win a race if you put them in the right spot. So I'm with you on that.
And every horse, and listen to me, every horse has a price. Like we bought Farbridge. We overpaid for Farbridge, and it turned into something very nice for our family.
Mm.
And to win a Grade One, like you saw this summer when you won your first Grade One, it's something that it's not about the purse or the check or anything. It's just that feeling. When you
Yeah.
win that Grade One. And you know what? Our theory about, looking out, getting new horses, to me is the same, for you, getting new clients. You still have to have the horses. You got to be able to go out and find those good horses that are out there. You happen to train one, that I just found out about that I had on my radar. So I took it off the radar afterwards. I don't like to ever take horses from somebody that trains them. So it was one of the one. Was your first Grade One Argos? Argos, is it?
Our second, yeah, our first Grade One was
Argos,
World Beater, but Argos,
right?
yeah, won a Grade One up in Canada this summer.
Yeah, yeah. World Beater's on vacation, but Argos is back on track. And I happen to know. I think one of the owners owns White Barrio. I think one of the guys that owns
Yeah,
it. We were
yeah, the
speaking recently. I
Cornets.
said, "You got anything?" I said, "You got anything? What do you got?" So he saw this horse and other horses, but be that it may be. So I wanted to go back to when you were growing up, and I think it's amazing, because really when I speak to some of the jockeys that grew up together, it's really hard to have a conversation with them of, what went on, what they did. So, growing up as kids with Miguel, you watched horse racing together. Like, did you root for your dad? He root for his dad. Like, walk me
Oh,
through
yeah.
that.
Yeah, I mean, it was just like we were as loyal as him rooting for the Florida Panthers and me the Sabres. I mean, we had our team, and our dad's stables were our teams. We'd run around in the yard with wooden kitchen spoons, pretending we were whipping Cigar and Flag Down, which was, Christoph's, one of his best horses when he started out. And yeah, it was. We're me and Miguel are both like wildly competitive, and we, sailed our flags for our father's stables as we were kids. That's for sure.
Have you guys raced against each other yet?
Yeah, and I think more often than not, he beats me, but I think I've gotten the better of him a couple times. But he's of course in New York primarily, races down at Gulfstream, obviously in the winter time. So we'll have a few more bouts down here in Florida throughout the winter. But maybe this summer in Saratoga we'll see each other a little more often.
He was very. You see what he did this year. Very interesting what he pulled. This, instead of sending the horses to Gulfstream, he's the leading trainer at Tampa. He
Yeah,
sent 12 horses out. Zach, he won 9 races.
he can't lose. He can't lose. Why fix what's not broken?
Right, Tampa. He's the king of Tampa.
Yeah, they're
He's,
gonna name a they're gonna name a sandwich after him in the grandstand.
so when you guys were kids, you did all this stuff. You rooted. That's amazing. Now you guys are going to race against each other. Yep. Have you been in a graded stake against each other yet?
Yeah, actually, we both ran in the Breeders' Cup against each other. So he
Who
and
won?
myself, and
Who won that race?
I want to say I finished in front of him. The
Oh, okay,
Coolmore
so you
horse
won that.
won.
Yeah, so you
Well,
won
yeah,
that.
if you want to call it winning, I finished in front of him, so we'll call that a win for now. But yeah, it was pretty cool. Him, myself, and Will Walden, who's a very close friend of ours as well. It was all of our first Breeders' Cups, and we were all in the same race together, so it was pretty special.
That's awesome. Oh, that's awesome. I love Will. He's a great guy. So Will was like he's a hockey fan too.
No, not necessarily hockey, but we were all down at Payson Park together as kids. Christoph, Elliot, Walden, and my dad. So we were growing up, just running around Payson Park together and wreaking havoc on the world.
We love Payson Park. You know what? It's one of the nicest places that I've ever been to. One of the things you hear, people talk about Payson Park is the stall charge. Do you get a lot of that from your clients they were pissed off about the stall charge of $1,000 a month for each stall?
Well, I mean, it's a very expensive game in a lot of ways to get into. I think there's, in the last 10 years, there's been newer avenues for people to get in at a lesser cost, which I think is great because not everyone can pay, $1,000 a month just to have a roof over their horse's head, let alone feed them and, you know, pay everything else that goes into it. Um, you want to uh, be mindful of your clients. You want to treat their money like it's your own. I think that's very important. So, without cutting any corners, I think you want to do a good job and have all the resources available to you that are necessary. But at the same time, you don't want to spend money just to spend it. So I think that's probably the, a one way that a trainer can help an owner maybe stay in the game a little longer. Because trust me, I understand the cost of being an owner in this game, and it's not easy.
Well, it becomes a little easier when you're winning and celebrating. If you don't win and celebrate 20%, it's not as good. You're going to lose 80%, of those races. 20% is the number. And enjoying it, not really, you got to look at it as a business, but at the end of the day, you still want to enjoy it. You want to do it with people that you enjoy it with. And, we've been with the Clements now for 3 years and we enjoy every part of them,
Hmm. Hmm.
from Miguel to Acacia to Valerie to Acacia's parent. Everybody that's involved is a very family, atmosphere. And I believe that is very important in this game. And I see it with your dad as well. I see the people that come to the barn, how he treats everybody. It's very, very loving. That's the way it looks like the two of you grew up.
Yeah, absolutely. Just as you said, it's a lot of family involved. It's a homey atmosphere, and winning with friends is so much more fun than winning by yourself. So everything you said is very valid.
Now, where are your horses now that training right now?
So we've got
Most
the
of
bulk
them.
of them down at Palm Meadows in Boynton Beach down here in Florida, and then we have a smaller string up at Keeneland in Lexington over the winter time.
And the horses in New York, when do you go to New York?
So we've actually not yet set up a string in New York. Our goal is to this coming summer have a presence at Saratoga. So, in the past few years we've run some horses there. Just kind of shipped into my dad's barn, and they hosted us pretty well there. But the goal is to open up my own barn this summer up there. I think it's the upper echelon, the pinnacle of our sport, Saratoga. It's where everyone, I think, starting out desires to be. That's where all the action is, all the best horses, all the best clients and trainers, etc. So that's what you're always working for is to compete at meets like that.
Excellent, excellent. Zach, I have one more thing before we let him go. Do you have anything? I have
Yeah,
one more thing.
I got a quick one. So Riley, you've been to probably almost every single race between like you and your dad, like from growing up. What's one race you would want to win that your dad hasn't won, or a track you haven't been to yet, or something like that?
Well, if you had asked me before this year, I would have said the Travers. I mean, that's, I consider Saratoga home, and the Travers is just like the coolest race in my opinion. I think other than the Kentucky Derby, that's probably the race on my bucket list that I'd like to win. So luckily, the old man was able to knock that off this year with Sovereignty. Um, you know, just there's so many obviously that I have not won. He's won almost everything you could think of. One race I know he wants to win a lot is the Japan Cup. If you asked him right now and asked him what race he in the world wants to win, he'd tell you the Japan Cup. He took Paradise Creek over there in the 80s, the late 80s, I guess it was, and just got beat a zap. Got beat a nose, finished second, and came super close to winning the Japan Cup. And I know he would tell you that. And there's plenty of grade ones left on my list, so I've got plenty.
Awesome. Hey, Dad, you got it.
So so I'm going to use your dad, and I'm going to use Miguel, and you're going to hopefully answer the question. So you get a phone call from Godolphin, and they say they want to move sovereignty to you. Do you call your father first, or you just take the horse?
Take the horse. I mean, ask for forgiveness later. You know what I mean?
So would you do the same for Miguel?
I would do the exact same thing. I'd do the exact same thing. No, you're putting me in a tough spot there. That's for sure. That's for sure. I wonder what Miguel would do. That's my question. What would Miguel do? I'd like to know that. I think I know the answer.
I know Miguel would definitely call you first. I promise you that.
Yeah, no, I'm just
He'd
playing.
either call you first. He'd either call you first, or he would say he didn't know about it.
Yeah, I think the latter. I think the latter.
Riley, thank you for coming on, and hopefully we'll have a horse with you one day.
Yeah, I'll take you up on that. Well, I enjoyed it, guys. I appreciate it.
If you enjoyed the episode, like, comment, and subscribe.